I'm Emily. I'm going to be doing CBT with a 5-year-old woman experiencing symptoms of depression. She has a husband and a 2-year-old daughter, has support from her sister, and has a desire to go to college, but that's not something she was able to do earlier in her life. So here we go. Hi, Suzanne. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing okay.
Okay. I want to start this session by asking you to rate your symptom or rate your week or for today, whichever one you feel more comfortable with, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being not depressed at all, and 10 being the most depressed you've felt.
Well, it was a really rough week.
Okay.
I would say probably a 6. It was a hard week.
Yeah.
Just a tough week.
Okay. Last week I gave you homework to, I gave you a weekly activity schedule so you could kind of monitor your activities hour by hour, and I wanted you to document 4 or 5 days of that. Were you able to complete that?
I did. I
Okay.
did. It was hard, but I want to see some change.
I understand.
So I did it.
Yeah, and that's a strength of yours, being motivated for treatment. That's something not a lot of people come in with.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. So let's look at what you've done for the week. I see you filled out Sunday. So
Yeah, I don't know why, but I just woke up Sunday morning feeling really down
okay.
and tired. I was so tired, just very exhausted. Had no desire to do anything, and I didn't intend to stay in bed a long time. And I just thought, well, just 30 more minutes, just 30 more minutes, just 30 more. And before I knew it, it was like noon.
Yeah.
Before I got out of bed, I just stayed in bed and curled up, had my nice warm blanket, and just kind of curled up in a ball. And it just seemed like it was all that I could handle in the morning.
And I'd asked you to rate each activity a scale of 0 to 10 on mastery and pleasure that you felt, and I see that like a score of 0.
Yeah, because it's not what I wanted to be doing.
Right.
I didn't want to be in bed. I really wanted to be able to be doing something else because there was plenty that needed to be done.
Right.
And so yes, I gave it a 0 because it just wasn't any good.
How are you sleeping at night? Is that contributing to wanting to lay in bed more?
You know, it seems like I sleep okay, but I wake up tired. I have a hard time getting out of bed.
Yeah. And that is a symptom of depression, which is what you've been diagnosed with, so it makes sense that you feel that way.
Okay. It's like I can't get enough sleep.
Yeah.
I have no energy.
Well, it looks like you did make it out of bed. You fixed lunch. That gave you a little bit of pleasure, felt some sort of accomplishment from that.
Yeah. I like when I can do something for my family.
Yeah.
That made me feel good.
And you had a couple hours where you played with your baby. That got a pretty high score compared to the others. The score 6.
Yes, I like playing with her.
Yeah.
She's wonderful.
You got some laundry done, it looks like.
I did. I got one load done.
Okay.
Easy load, towels, so that I could just put them in and just put them in the dryer, and I could just leave them there, and I didn't have to worry about them.
Yeah. Well.
So that helped.
You got some sense of accomplishment.
I did. It felt good to get that done.
Next, we have a nap, and that gave you more pleasure than laying in bed in the morning.
It did, because after I fixed lunch and played, with my little one and did that one load of laundry, I was really exhausted. So it actually felt good to lay down in bed and take a little nap.
Right. Yeah. Your score also went up when you made dinner. And when you called your sister. That's the highest score of the day.
I love talking to my sister. Anytime I talk to my sister, she's just a very optimistic, positive person. And
it's good that you have somebody
to her.
Like that in your life.
Yes, I'm lucky to have her.
Yeah. More time with your baby, getting your baby ready for bed. And going to bed at night, it seems pretty consistent that those scores are low. Is there a reason why that is?
I think it's because when I go to bed at night, I look at the day and I think, I should have done more than I did. Look what I did. I laid in bed till noon, and I don't know, didn't get done what I'm not doing what I think I should be able to do, and it just it frustrates me.
Yeah, and you're still relatively early in therapy, so I mean,
Mhm.
it's not expected to you for you so soon, but you'll get there strong.
I choose to believe you.
Yeah. So it looks like you skipped Monday, but you
Yeah.
did record on Tuesday. Yeah.
Monday was just a rough day all the way around, so
Okay.
I skipped Monday. And then Tuesday, I just couldn't get up again,
Mhm.
and I was late for work,
Okay.
and that's never good.
No, that got a score of 0.
Yep, it's not. I mean, if there could have been a -5, I'd have put it in there because it's hard. You walk
Okay.
in, but I managed to be at work
Yeah.
until 2,
Yeah.
and I gave work a 1 because it's just
Not.
not exciting. It's
Yeah.
not what I want to be doing.
Yeah. You've expressed to me that that's not
Mm-mm.
what. It doesn't bring you a sense of accomplishment working there.
It doesn't. It's just not what I really want to be doing.
Yeah.
But we need the money, you know.
Your
And
mood did look a little better. You got
Mhm.
to pick up your baby from daycare
Yes.
and played with your baby for a little bit.
Hmm.
Dinner.
That's
Called
the
your
high point.
sister again. That
Yep.
got a high score.
Yes. She brought that. She made that. I talked to her, and yeah, and then I watched a movie.
Get to go out, or was it a movie at home?
It was a movie at home,
Okay.
but it was just the two of us because the baby had gone to sleep,
Mhm.
and so we just got to sit and actually have a little bit of time together and watch a movie. And
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Good.
We don't get to do that very often, so
Yeah.
that was nice. And then of course it was time to go to bed again,
Yeah.
and I didn't quite give it a 0. I gave it a 1
Yeah.
because the evening,
It was
was
better,
nicer,
yeah.
but I still couldn't get off my mind that I was late for work and I
Yeah.
couldn't get out of bed.
Well, you did
So,
record 3 days in a row, so that's some improvement from the beginning of the week. Let's talk
well, that's a
about
good way to look at that.
Wednesday.
Yeah. So I was in bed again.
Mhm.
I wasn't late for work, but nearly. I was.
Yeah.
Of course, I went to work and I worked, and of
Mhm.
course, that's a number one because I just don't like what I do
Right.
with work.
Had a little bit longer shift that day.
I did. I worked an hour longer that day,
Mhm.
trying to make up for some things,
Yeah.
and then I went and picked my little one up, and working that extra hour made me tireder,
Yeah.
so I didn't enjoy picking her up as were. Um, but I went home and I took a nap,
Okay.
and I gave that a 2 because I just was laying there thinking about everything I should be doing. It just wasn't enjoyable, and
Yeah.
I didn't feel rested. That's all. But
Yeah, this night doesn't look as good as.
mm-mm.
But I'm just picking out some correlations from your other nights. It doesn't look like you got any social time with your husband or your sister this night. So, do you think maybe that has something to do with your mood?
I never thought about it before, but it looks that way, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. No, there's nothing. All I did was work and then pick her up and make dinner
Mhm.
and get her ready for bed, and then I was so exhausted from the day, I just went straight to bed. I didn't talk
Yeah.
to anybody, and it wasn't good. I didn't sleep well.
Yeah.
So,
Thursday does look like your worst day that you recorded, or your
mhm.
most maybe not so.
Yeah, as you saw, this was a rough day, and
Mhm.
I really think that's neat how you pointed out that on this day I didn't talk to my sister or spend any time with my husband. He worked
Mhm.
late that night,
Yeah.
and I just went to bed at 8 o'clock, which
Mhm.
is really early, but I was just exhausted. Didn't sleep well all night. Woke up feeling not good the next morning.
Yeah.
Had a hard time. Couldn't get out of bed,
Mhm.
and I finally just decided to call in sick because I just couldn't do it. I just
Mhm.
didn't think I could handle it. I couldn't handle another day doing that. I felt like I needed some sleep and
Yeah,
some
you've got
rest.
some naps listed here.
I took a lot of naps on
Okay.
Thursday.
I
Yep.
see you do in the afternoon. Is that typical for you?
Yeah, it happens a lot. A lot of times I just have no appetite,
Okay.
no desire to eat anything. It's just, I don't know. Nothing sounds good. I'm not interested. Just
Okay.
not interested in eating.
Yeah.
So,
You got to visit with your sister here. Your score kind of differed between those 2 hours. Is there a reason for that?
yeah, I think it went down a little bit at 5 because I just didn't feel as well. I was tired.
Yeah.
The first part visiting with her was enjoyable, but it wore me out because
Okay.
I was already tired. And so then, when she called back and she wanted to visit some more, I was happy she wanted to visit with me, but I didn't really feel like good company.
Yeah. Okay.
But yet it's her, and she's wonderful, and
Mhm.
so that's why it's a 5,
Okay.
because I enjoyed talking to her.
I assume you felt that way too when you had dinner with your husband that night.
I did.
Yeah.
I got through it. I mean, I love being with him.
Mhm.
He's I enjoy my time with him, but I didn't enjoy it as much because it was just too much.
Yeah.
Too much people.
Yeah.
This here after no people, no nothing, and then
Mhm.
having boom all this people. It was just a bit. It was kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I went to bed early again,
Mhm.
and again I was just exhausted, had no energy, and I didn't
Well,
record Friday because Friday was another rough
yeah,
day.
but you picked up on
So
Saturday.
I did, and but I was late for work again on
Okay.
Saturday. Hard time getting up,
Mhm.
but I did manage to be at work for 6
hours.
hours. I
That's
didn't realize
good.
I was at work that long. I was
Yeah.
there for 6 hours.
May have been busier on a Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. The time goes quicker, when it's busier.
Mhm.
And I was still, it's not enjoyable.
Yeah.
And then my sister kind of sent me a text toward the end, said, "What time you get off work? You want to have some dinner?"
Yeah.
And I thought, well, okay.
Yeah.
I can't say no to her.
Yeah.
She's
Your
too
score,
sweet.
that's that's a lower score than you've given her previously, but that's a high jump between work and your sister.
Yeah, I think I was just, I was exhausted at the beginning of the day,
Right.
late for work, which was not pleasant,
Mhm.
and then work is just not pleasant, and I was just really, really tired. But, I can't say no to my sister.
Okay.
So it was another one of those, I'm really not good company. I don't
Mhm.
feel like good company. And then I went and spent some time with my husband
Yeah.
at home, and
And with your baby.
yeah, and I was really wore out
Yeah.
by then. In fact, I felt kind of bad because my time with her here was more just like,
Mhm.
I just gotta get done
Yeah.
so I can go to bed, but still it's more enjoyable than work and
Mhm.
other things.
Okay.
So,
Did you have time for any time with your sister or your husband on the days you didn't record?
uh, I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
Did
You
I?
mentioned that they were both rough
They were
days.
rough days. Monday, I think I may have seen my husband just for a little bit,
Okay.
but not much.
Okay.
Not really. I didn't talk to my sister on Monday.
Mhm.
Didn't spend much time with my baby on Monday. My
Okay.
husband mainly took care of her.
Okay.
I think I just saw him to tell him night when he came to bed, and that was about it. Same with Friday. I was just I was pretty much almost in bed all day long.
Mhm.
My husband took, the baby to take care of me, and I didn't even get out of my pajamas. I don't think either one of those days.
Okay.
I just didn't do anything, and of course he picked her up and
Mhm.
everything, and brought her home and took care of her. And no, I didn't talk to my sister
Okay.
or my husband those days.
It looks like I pointed out before that you do get that social time. Can you find any place in these where you could make time for more social activities or activities that you enjoy in general, even if they are solid? Here, you didn't feel well, and then
Mm-hmm.
you tried to be social, but it was just too much being with people. But maybe you could find an activity that you enjoy even alone.
Well, I never even thought about
Yeah.
that. Gosh, I don't even know.
Any kind of
Huh.
self-care routine you can implement, like even once or twice a week, a hot bubble bath. That's something that a
Wow.
lot of women enjoy.
Never even thought about that.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to try that.
Okay. Can you
Yeah.
think of any other activities you could make time for? 'Cause that is one of your goals that you set when we made
Mm-hmm.
your treatment plan, was you wanted to
Yeah.
implement more time for
For
fun.
things I
Yeah.
enjoy. It may sound really strange, but I don't even know what I enjoy
Okay.
anymore. It's like everything is so different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Um,
What's something you used to do that you really enjoyed?
um, what did I used to enjoy doing? I enjoyed reading.
Okay.
I enjoyed reading books, reading stories, novels. I
Mm-hmm.
used to enjoy doing that.
Okay.
Um, I used to enjoy just taking a drive.
Mm-hmm.
If my husband and I used to take little drives and Sometimes we go to the park.
Mhm.
I used to enjoy being outdoors. I used to enjoy just sitting outside and reading outside even is
Yeah.
something I used to enjoy doing.
Maybe instead of going to bed as early, if you feel bad about being in bed so early, you could read 30 minutes before bed on nights where you're feeling a little more, into that.
That's a
Um,
possibility.
your baby may be getting to the point more external stimuli and maybe getting ready to walk and talk more. So taking her to the park on a Saturday when you don't have work or a Sunday when you don't have work could be a good idea. And that gives you more time with your husband, or if you wanted to invite your sister.
That's a really good
Mm-hmm.
idea. I like that idea.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that we could actually do.
Yeah. Maybe you could meet one of your objectives in the next couple weeks if you would
Mm-hmm.
see if you can implement some of that into your week. And I want you to keep another log for next week. That's
Mm-hmm.
going to be your homework for this week.
Okay.
Try to do 4 or 5 days again.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
That
you're
sounds good.
doing very well though.
Well, thank you.
Um,
I like the idea. I really like the idea about going to the park
mhm,
with my husband and the baby because we've got a stroller. There's no
mhm,
reason why we couldn't sure and
yeah.
go to the playground and let her be there.
And sometimes
I
the
like that idea.
exercise, depressive symptoms, it's a double whammy there.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm gonna try to do that this week.
Okay.
This
Good.
Sunday. I'm gonna try to do that this Sunday.
Great. I'm glad you've taken that in.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, I wanted to go over this problem-solving exercise. You
Okay.
mentioned last week your desire to go to college, and
Mhm.
you feel like maybe you don't have time, or maybe you have to work instead.
Yeah.
So I've already written that out as your problem, if that's okay.
Mhm.
So this worksheet kind of it's called the solved,
Okay.
and it'll kind of walk you through maybe identify some possible solutions. You can
Mhm.
look at pros and cons for each of those, and
Okay.
kind of make a plan to accomplish that goal or to solve that problem.
Okay.
So I've already got your problem here. I'd like to go to college, but I feel like I have to work.
Yes.
Let's identify some possible solutions. What are you thinking?
Well, sometimes I think about and wonder, like, since I don't have time to go to classes,
Mm-hmm.
there's been times I've tossed I take online
Oh,
classes.
that'd be
If
great.
that would be a
Yeah,
possibility.
number one.
Okay.
Before we go on to pros and cons, we want to list all of the possible solutions. So, is there
Okay.
anything else you can think of that would work for you?
Well, I've also thought about, I know I can't go full time. There's just no way
Yeah.
I could go full time. But lately, I've been kind of wondering if it would be possible, if it would be possibility for me to go part time.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at that and I think, well, is that a good thing to do? Because it may take me 6, 7, 8 years to get my degree, and is it worth it?
Yeah.
I just sometimes I feel like I'm so old.
No.
Even and
You're
that
only 25.
I know, but I just feel so much older. I just feel so much. But part-time classes is something I've
Okay.
thought about
That's
too.
great. And I know you expressed to me some concerns financially,
Mhm.
but there are always Pell Grants and, student loans. I know that's scary.
Mhm.
Filling out your FAFSA, seeing what kind of financial aid you could get to help you pay for those classes if that's something you're serious about.
Where would I get information on how to
Um,
do that?
the FAFSA website is something you'll have to
Okay.
navigate, and that's kind of a
Okay.
hassle,
Oh
but
boy.
we can walk through that together if that's something
Okay.
you want to do.
Okay.
And each, depending on what university you're interested in going to, they have their own scholarships. You could see if you
Hmm.
qualify for any of those and
Mhm.
look at that. So,
I even thought about that.
yeah. Next, we'll revisit each solution and look at some pros and cons.
Okay.
So, how about some pros for online classes?
Well, the biggest pro is that I don't have to be away from home.
Right. It'd be
I
convenient.
It'd be convenient. I could work during my lunch break at
Mm-hmm.
work. I can work from home with my laptop. I could work
Yeah.
pretty much anywhere. I could even, with what we were talking about, this new thing we were talking about going to the park, I could even take my computer
Yeah.
to the park and
Mm-hmm.
work on homework there. And
Yeah.
that might be really, really nice,
That's a great
actually.
idea.
I
Yeah.
think I would enjoy that
Yeah.
while my little one's, playing.
Mm-hmm. Any cons to going online classes?
My biggest fear, I don't know if I have the time to do it, and I don't know if I have the motivation to do it because I'm
Okay.
having such a hard time just getting out of bed
Yeah.
and making it to work. How am I going to add classes to do?
Well, maybe this you really desire, that could be a motivator. And if you can
That's true.
kind of get your husband on board, he can push you in the right direction a little bit.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
He's not against it.
Yeah.
And my sister, she's all in favor of it too. They've both been telling me, you need to go back to school.
Yeah.
So
'Cause I know you're not feeling accomplished at
No.
JCPenney.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay. What about your part-time class idea? What's some pros for that?
Well, I like that idea because it's more manageable to take maybe start with just one class and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then if that goes smoothly, maybe take 2 the next semester, and I can just take 1 or 2 classes at a time, and I can slowly make progress.
Yeah. And
So
you told me before that you had started college and then dropped out after the unexpected pregnancy.
yes.
So you may already have some of those general classes out of the way that you wouldn't have to worry about.
That's true.
So you may be starting a little ahead of the game,
That sounds good.
Any cons to part-time classes?
Well, the money.
Yeah.
I mean, if I take classes, it's going to cost money.
Yes, it will.
And that's money's always a concern.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the biggest con I could think of with that.
Yeah.
Money and maybe taking more time away from my family.
Okay.
So, but looking at the schedule, if I spent less time in bed and napping,
Yeah.
that would be a lot of time to do
That's true.
classes and homework.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if I enjoyed what I was doing, it would make a difference.
Very well could.
Mm-hmm.
What about getting financial aid? What are some pros for that?
Well, financial aid, I mean, this is all that was a possibility. That would make it possible for me to go back to school,
Mm-hmm.
because, I didn't have that. I didn't need that before because I actually had a scholarship,
Mm-hmm.
and then I lost the scholarship. So that would actually make it possible for me to go back to school.
Any cons for that?
The biggest con I could see for that is whatever, like if my husband makes too much money or we make too much money and I can't get Pell Grants, I'm going to be facing student debt when I get done, and I'm going to have to pay for that.
True.
And so I'll have more financial burden.
Okay.
So that's the con.
So out of all of these possible solutions we've listed and the pros and cons which do you think would be the most feasible for you?
I think checking out the online classes and see what's available.
It's a great idea. Yeah.
Okay.
So what would be the next? We're gonna star by there to make sure we know that that's what your choice is. So the next step would be enacting the solution, taking those steps to make that possible. So what would step 1 be?
That is where I was going to apply.
Yes.
Do I want to go to the local college? Do I want to, which is where I started my degree? Would I want to continue there or do something else online?
Yeah.
Do they have online classes?
Yeah.
So I'd have to decide where I want to go.
I think that's one of your goals too, is to research some nearby colleges. So,
yes.
Or one of your objectives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll make your first step, decide what college and apply to it.
Okay.
Would within the next month or so be a good time frame for you?
That would.
Okay.
That would be very good.
Step 2. What would you say?
Once I discovered where I wanted to go and applied, I'd have to check into financial aid and see what my options are.
Okay.
So I would think that checking into financial aid would be good. And
great.
Yeah, and of course I can't do that until after
you're
I've been accepted. So I would have to apply to a college and
so that'll
do
be
a
your
FAFSA.
time frame, right? Okay. And step 3.
Ooh. Step 3 would be start taking classes.
Yeah. I know that's a little overwhelming.
That's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming and it's too good to be true at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's something we can kind of let sink in.
Yeah, we can work on that together.
Yes. So you would start classes maybe in the spring.
Yeah, I could maybe start them in the spring in January.
Yeah, that seems like something that excites you.
It does.
Good.
It doesn't. It doesn't seem real.
Yeah. Well,
makes me happy.
The last step of this is to decide if the solution worked, and we can't really do that yet because we don't know.
Right.
But we'll revisit that maybe after you've completed step 1 and see how you're feeling then.
I sure feel a lot better now than when I came
I'll
in.
let you keep this.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. Would
do
you
that.
say your rating for your depressive symptoms has changed since
Yes.
the beginning? What would you say it is now?
Right now, I would say it's more like a 4.
Wow, okay.
It's really because the thought of going to college really makes me happy.
Yeah, well, you've done really well. I'm proud of you for completing your homework.
Thank you.
Um,
Okay.
and I'll
I
see
will
you
do
at the
that.
same time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.